Hello everyone and welcome back to Fly From Home. It's your boy Kitty here with another first look product review on one of these exciting new black square modifications, augmentations to the original Microsoft Flight Simulator default aeroplanes. And this time it's the King Air Beech 350, as you can see here. Lovely looking external model as developed by Asobo. But inside, it's a completely different cockpit we've got here. We've got the full old-fashioned analog gauges and everything. In fact, I am completely out of my depth when it comes to this. But thankfully, as we watch the pushback tug do a sick flip on the side of the building, I can hand over to somebody who knows all about King Airs because he is a real-life King Air captain. And you may recognise him from our other videos because he's now a Fly From Home regular. Nathan, would you like to say hi?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kitty, very much. So I've been on the channel before. I did fly the old Cessnas and done some few Cessna Twin videos, the 310 and the 414 video recently. And now I'm here to help out on the King Air. Well, this is essentially the 350 in game, but they give an older King Air 300 cockpit as such. Now I have a type rating for a King Air 90, 100, 99 and the 200. I only fly the 200. This is the first time I looked at it about an hour ago, and most of the switches are the same. There's just a few gauges differences, so I can hopefully give you some aspects of what it's like. It seemed good so far, and hopefully give Kitty a hand flying it. And hopefully soon, when the full release of this aircraft comes out, I can actually fly it for you, and then we'll swap roles this time. And Kitty will be the commentator, I suppose, and the one to throw the banter around. And I can fly it, see what you think to it, and I can give you a proper real life idea what I think this flies like once I get my new yoke sorted.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm well up for that for taking a back seat and just just throwing the banter around for once instead of actually having to fly. So what we've got planned for you today is something that Nathan's suggested for us, and it's a routing that he does a lot in real life, and it's a route from Jersey, and we're just nipping over to Exeter on the south coast, which is the former headquarters of a certain unnamed airline. We're routing via the Scary 2 departure up to Scary, and then a quick trip down November 862 Airways to the Bravo Hotel Delta VOR, and then we're making an approach onto ILS runway 08 to land. So yeah, quick little trip for us. We're going to get the airplane set up with Nathan's help. We're not going to go too in-depth, as Nathan said just now, because this is just a first look, and we'll give you a bit of an impression of what we think of it so far. But I've literally just installed this. We've had a little bit of a play around with it, and now this is pretty much the first proper trip that we're doing in it. So anything that we discover en route, you'll be the first to know. Right. As far as I'm concerned, that's about it. Anything you want to add to that, Nathan?
No, that's fine. Let's go for it. So you want to go for your first overview of what you think? I think. Well, personally, well, I'll go for mine. So sorry. The cockpit modelling looks really good. The gauges look nice. The switches seem to act as they should be and look right and correct from what I've seen. A lot of the displays that come up are good, and the captions for the master caution, the master warning come up quite nicely. And the internal model looks, for the cockpit wise, looks quite good. It's very basic in the rear from what you can see. It's just basically a bit of wood paneling, and you can sort of see where the tables are. That's not really full level of detail, I suppose, but it's not bad. I just don't think they modelled that absolutely brilliantly. But the external looks very good on this. I know we can't open the doors and things like that, but I think the external looks very good. The labels and switches and nuts and bolts and rivets seem to be in the right places, and the stickers for the door handles and things like that. Winglets look correct, and where we should be. The nav lights look really good close in. Look exactly like the real thing. So yeah, I think externally, for what essentially is a normal game in-game aeroplane, I think Microsoft did a very good job in the first place. I think this really, as I think you said, Kitty, is just the mod for the classic avionics. So that's what we're really reviewing, and do they work as they should do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that the external models that come with Microsoft Flight Simulator are really good looking. So all we're essentially, all Black Square did is essentially graft this cockpit into it. But they've also done a whole bunch of other stuff in terms of the systems. So they've added electrical systems, hydraulic systems, pressurization. They've added a failure system. All of the circuit breakers work. All of the switches in here work. As Nathan said, I'm really impressed by the gauges and the switches and everything. Everything's got custom sounds to it. So it's, from first impressions from my point of view, very, very impressive. I have very, very limited experience with the King Air. I flew an E90 once, which is an incredibly old-fashioned King Air with a low tail, really, really short body version. It was completely knackered and broken, and I was sat in the right-hand seat and just acting as a safety pilot and having a little bit of a fly around. But beyond that, I have known absolutely nothing about King Airs. But from my limited experience, this does look very, very good. And I think, I mean, we don't really know what the release price is going to be yet. I'm going to withhold judgment on that for now. But so far, it's looking very, very good. But anyway, we'll crack on with the setup, Nathan, and we'll take it as it comes.
Absolutely. So just go through some before start checks then. So
Okay.
we'll just go for parking brake is set.
Yeah, parking brake.
What?
Yeah, parking brake is set.
Perfect. All switches off normal as required. I think we're happy with it there where they should be.
Yeah.
So pull the oxygen on as well. So we need to make sure the oxygen's on.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Move back to my normal sort of seating position and pull that up.
You'll hear that, and then if you go to the mask, we can test them to make sure they're working correctly. Perfect. And then you just check you've got pressure in the gauge over the other side.
Okay. Yep. And hang
The
on.
bottom.
There we go.
There you go.
Pressure. We have it.
So just to explain to people as well, in the UK and Europe, generally the 350 series or 300 series, so it is a different type range to what I fly, but essentially that's mainly because in most parts of Europe and the EU and the UK, it is a multi-pilot aeroplane only because of the weight limits. Not the case if you're flying it privately. I don't believe that's the case at all. I think it's still mostly flown single pilot in the USA, just to let people know. So that's why checklists and things might seem a little bit clunky because I fly a multi-crew personally. Also fly it single crew as well for some survey operations. But predominantly passenger-wise, it's always flown multi-crew. But it's designed as a single pilot aircraft, so it can be quite clunky between the two with the checks and stuff like that. Just to explain to people.
Cool.
We'll carry on with checks, and so now we'll go for battery. Battery on under the gang bar.
And the gang bar. There we go.
And just check the volts. So we go to the top panel, which is the battery switch. So
yeah. Get onto
so
battery.
So apparently we've got 28 volts. We must have got some external power somewhere because it's a 24-volt aeroplane. But we'll just put that down to maybe glitch maybe or some sort of Microsoft Flight Sim.
I mean, we do have a external power. Okay, so we do have an external power switch. I suppose we can turn on and see if we get a change. No, it's still the same.
So please just not. So that's something maybe they can look into possibly.
Right. Okay.
Passenger briefing. Well, no passengers to talk to today, but make sure we're sitting there, cup of tea in hand, or coffee.
Shut up. Stay quiet. Don't bother us.
Yeah, absolutely. Tax advisory light. So I don't know actually. The seatbelt sign switch isn't the same in this as it is in the B200 series. I can't find that for you guys as of yet. Well, we'll keep looking and try and delve into some 300 manuals see if I can find it for you. Cabin door indicator is extinguished, so the door's closed, and then beacon and nav lights on, and we'll do the first start.
Beacon and nav. Okay.
And we'll go for the right engine first. If that's right with you, Kitty.
Yeah, let's go for it. So starts to on.
Prop forward as well.
Prop forwards.
And then when we get to 12% on the NG, induce the fuel to low idle.
Okay, that's what we're looking here. Okay, let's go low idle, right engine. You can hear the engine lighting off and running up.
You can see the prop coming out further now into the flying pitch. And then once we get to 50%, so we'll start her off.
Okay, just past 50%, yep. So starter off.
And then go to right generator on.
And right generator on. can check
And
that,
then
can't we?
look at the loads of no, it's not come on. Right, Jenny, look on
Oh.
the two. Yeah, so just reset it on again, see what it comes on. You have to hold it for a second sometimes.
Yeah, there we go.
Two.
Now we got it. Yeah.
Now, same thing, and if you want to put the right-hand fuel lever up to high idle,
Okay.
out the train start, and then again, make sure the prop's forward on the left.
Okay. Prop forwards.
And then if you go to left starter on, and do fuel at 12%.
Okay.
Apparently, they've modelled hot starts into this, so we'll have to see how that goes later on with a full review video. We'll try and
Hopefully we're
explain
not
that
going to light ourselves on fire at the moment. Don't really fancy that. Oh, there we go. So that's 12%. Fuel's coming in.
So the engines on the King Airs, all the King Airs are the PT6 Pratt & Whitney engine, different variants. So you might see us as familiar to the TBMs that are on the channel and the Cessna 208 Caravan, we've had them before. So that's why there's some familiarity with fuel and things like that. So
Okay.
to the left start off as well, Kitty, when you're ready.
Yeah. There we go.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Now we'll just do some start flow. So if you go, we'll start sort of working left to right almost.
Okay.
So if you zoom right in there, go to avionics power on, inverter on left and right,
Inverter on, left and right.
auto feather armed,
Auto feather arms.
and then for now we'll switch to go to the cabin pressure. So we'll set the cabin pressure.
Okay.
And we'll set that to flight level 200 because we're going to climb to flight level 210 because so that's going to that's a 3.5 now, is it? Yeah.
Yep.
So go the other way around.
All right. I was looking at the wrong scale because I'm stupid.
Yeah. Inner scale and set that to flight level 210. We're going to climb to flight level 200 today, so it's going to be 1,000 feet above the level we are hoping for.
This takes a while. There we go, 210 set.
So if you set the rate knob to the middle as well, so keep on where you were.
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Rate knob to the middle.
Right into the middle.
Yep. The cabin pressure is in the right place. We're going to put the rudder boost on.
On.
And the electric trim on.
Electric trim on. Right.
We're going to go to the P2 side of the cockpit now.
Okay. Pop over
Just see
here.
how we're sort of flowing right to left almost. It works quite nicely.
Yep.
And then we are going to go for the furnishings on to make sure we get a nice hot coffee.
Oh, extremely important.
Absolutely. Cabin lights to bright, just to the top.
Yep.
Cabin master can come on. If you take the yoke out of the way, it'll be a little bit easier to see.
Yep, there we go.
And then we'll go leader valves to open. So all the way to the top. So that's just, that's it, perfect. And then we'll go to auto on the cabin temperature. I think it's set to auto, which is good.
Yeah, sets auto.
And then you can see the temperature in the cockpit to the right side there. So probably turn it up for the passengers. So I'll probably put the cabin temperature somewhere around the 6 o'clock position down the bottom. Down the middle there. So it'll work quite nicely. That'll automatically sort out for it.
Right, okay.
Then now we do for after starts. We'll make it a little bit quicker just so we can do this more in depth in the review video. I'm going to go taxi light on and we'll taxi to the hole for 08.
Okay, we've still got a left chip detect, so this may be me breaking the aeroplane in the last video. So in the last flight that we did, sorry. So yeah, when me and Nathan were messing around testing it, this thing popped up, and this is basically when you're starting to get metal chips in your oil. Is it not in your engine oil, which indicates that you've managed to mince one of the engines. So yeah, we might not make it to Exeter, but we'll see. I've got no idea how to reset that. I'm gonna have to check the manual on how to do that.
There's an update on the aeroplane that won't go off until obviously the engineering update is done.
Yeah.
So it is right, I suppose, in some ways. Also, it says you should check it after the end, and make sure you basically check it and check it at the end of the flight. So you can continue to destination. So we'll assume that's come on halfway through the flight, and we'll just carry on to Exeter.
Right. Okay. We'll ignore that.
Yeah. But yeah, taxi light on and taxi
light on. Yeah, okay, that's looking good. Right, okay. So I'm going to have to avoid Tony Hawk there on his tug, and then try and spin the airplane around.
In real life, the King has a really poor turning circle to the right, but it's better to the left.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's model any better or not, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not catching it.
It seems pretty agile to the left, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a little bit of differential braking, and seems to spin around quite nicely.
Very good there.
Shall I bring the right engine back down to low idle now, since we've...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does tend to run away a little bit with high idle set.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot of attaching is done in the ground idle. So there's two selections. There's sort of reverse. There's ground idle, which is the first gate, and the second gate is the actual reverse. So just to let people know out there.
Right.
I don't know if you know if you've got a free hand while you're trying to start that kitty, but you want to set the altitude select window to flight level 200, so we're cleared to. Actually, we're 5,000 first. Watch the level up at the SID. The Scary 2 Bravo SID is 5,000 feet, so we'll assume we'll get cleared higher once we hit 5,000.
Okay. Just realised we don't have a flight plan in, so I'm going to start trying to put that in while we taxi as well. Really, really good practice, obviously, to be taxiing around and playing with the GPS at the same time. That's definitely the safest thing you can be doing. One of the many reasons why you fly multi-pilot in these sort of situations, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
In fact, that as a load of procedure, departure. Where is it? There we go, into there. Load. That gets us to Scary. And then we just put an en route waypoint to BHD.
Yep.
Bury head.
Below the approach, we're in the cruise, can't we? So it's
yeah, that should be good enough for now. At least we won't get lost. So this scenery, in case anyone's interested, is a UK 2000s jersey. It's pretty cheap, I think, as far as I remember. It's about 11 or 12 pounds. Well worth it if you fly from here often.
Yeah, pretty good.
So this is post sim update 10. So we've got the new fancy gust wind turbulence system in. We were just playing around at in the Caribbean, weren't we, on the tail end of the massive hurricane that's just gone through, and yeah, I was really impressed with how the aeroplane handled in a crosswind as we were coming into land, and the turbulence was really good. So if you're wondering about how it handles the new weather engine, it does it really well, in my opinion.
Yeah. So just for the before takeoff, we'll assume everything's pretty much done, just to save time for people. We'll just do a line-up check quickly, and then we'll set the autopilot ready for the flight. If you're alright with that, Kitty?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
The autopilot first. So if you go put the course bar to obviously what the first course is.
Okay, so let's put this to GPS, and the first direct desired track is 083. So I'm going to do this with the honeycomb because it's a little bit faster.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about this HSI is it's got the course number down there in a little manual thing. You can see the numbers kind of flicking backwards and forwards, which I quite like.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, course bar set, and I'm going to put the heading bug on there as well.
Yeah, so put the heading in, and then what we'll do, we'll depart on heading and the go around select as we did before.
Okay,
once we start the climb, we'll put we'll put climb mode in. We'll put nav mode in, and then we'll let it climb itself on the nav, and then out select for 5,000. So we can do that as we like. So if you want to put the autopilot into heading mode and go around mode.
Okay, so heading there, and then I'm going to hit the go around button on my Honeycomb Bravo. There we go. And that's go around.
8 degrees on the flight director, so if you have an engine failure, that's basically your fish altitude to aim for in case of engine failure, and that will give you roughly a blue line speed to climb away.
Okay, awesome.
So let's go for line up, and then we'll line up checks when we're lined up.
Okay, right, so park brake off again. Basically, it's a bit like the old Q400 in that you need pretty much no power at all to get it rolling. In the Q400, obviously, you were able to kind of drag the throttles back and it would disc the props, and you could basically just taxi without using the brakes, just using disc mode on the props. Whereas you don't have that in the King Air, so you kind of have to be very, very what's the word? Very cautious with the throttle and be ready to sort of hit the brakes if you start going a little bit too fast.
Easy to do 30-40 knots without putting a ground idle.
Yeah.
So we'll go for auto. So you want to put the parking brake on, just go for some line checks.
Okay.
And go auto ignition to arm.
Okay, let's pop down here. So we're looking for auto ignition to arm. Yep.
Landing lights on.
Landing lights on.
We'll assume we're clear takeoff now, so we go taxi light off.
Okay, taxi light off.
And precogs and strobes on.
Cogs and strobes, yep.
Windshield heat to normal, just to protect any burst strikes.
Normal, yep.
Fuel vents both on.
Both on.
Stall warn and pitot heats both on.
Okay. All on.
And then transponder, make sure that's on.
What we've got on the old... Oh, that's the ADF. What am I looking at? Transponder is here. There we go. Transponder's here. So it's on. We don't have a squawk, but let's go the default IFR squawk. So let's just go... Oh, hang on. I'm just going to put it on here because it's way easier. Just put 2000 on here. There we go. Alt on.
And yep, so if we go to basically, we'll put against the parking brake off. We'll put the power against the brakes to the prop start to govern. And then release
start ramping about.
Percent torque.
Okay, props are on the governors, lights are out apart from the chip detect. Release the brakes, start to push the power forward. So this is kind of like taking off in a turbocharged aeroplane, isn't it? In that you're trying not to push it over 100%.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. See, we've got quite a way to go there. Look, you've got about 80% of things at the moment.
Yeah. There's 100.
Knots, rotate.
Nice and heavy on the yoke.
Yeah,
feels.
So it's not heavy once you get it up in the air, but just get it up initially is quite heavy. So
yeah.
That's positive. So gear up, and then landing lights on.
Okay, and landing lights off.
So I was explaining to Kitty, the landing lights are actually anti-taxi lights wrong when going to the aeroplane. So the actual we'll have the lights on when the gear's gone up. So if you put the landing taxi lights on, the gear is up, you'll see that the caption on the landing lights on, just to let you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go back to the. So you want to select climb mode.
Okay, let's go climb mode.
And then basically nav mode.
Okay, so yeah, nav mode.
And then engage autopilot.
And autopilot master.
And that should follow the departure. And then the select outed arm, so it's going to capture at 5,000 feet. So we'll just let it capture 5,000, see if it does it properly.
Okay.
As you can see, it's climbing happily at 160 knots. And it will do that happily all the way up there. So after takeoff checks, the gear and landing lights are up, and we can just bring the props back a little bit just for noise passengers if you like.
Yeah, okay. So I'll pull that back. So this is one of the differences between the King Air that you fly and this one, isn't it? So the props are a little bit more low RPM than
high power, more power blend, please. So yeah, something like that, about 17, 1800 RPM should be fine.
Okay.
So the prop RPM on the P200 is 2000 max, so a little bit different, that's all. Works in the same manner, so we can get by the
So we want a DTK of 322, so spin that round. As far as I know, just a default Microsoft Flight Simulator autopilot, but it has improved a lot over recent months, so it's not the absolute death sentence that it used to be, having a default autopilot. Seems to be handling things quite nicely.
Absolutely, yeah. So you got a C chime there. The out select window is going off. So it's warning you've got 1,000 feet to go.
Yep.
And then hopefully it'll capture at 5,000 feet. You see the arm window's gone off. So it looks like it's capturing now, and the vertical speed is dropping. It's missing those down, and it looks like it's going to level off at 5,000 feet just as requested to. So a great start compared to last time.
Lovely. There we go, 5,000 feet.
So, you normally transfer to something like Jersey Control now, and by about this time, they'll probably say climb flight level 200.
Alright, let's set 200 on here.
And then you've got to go back to the climb mode on there.
Climb, there we go, and alt cell. And we got alt cell's armed, altitude, flight level 20, can set standard now, so we don't have... oh, there we go, we got...
yeah.
We got English numbers now.
Yeah, none of it's...
sadly, I don't think this one does it.
No.
So we've just got to use... There we go, we'll use the old... across the pond figures on the other side. There we go.
2 thing to say, don't they?
Yeah, 2992.
Sure, our American viewers can correct us on that.
Of course, and also mock our terrible American accents.
On a country like England or the United Kingdom, we use hectopascals, and you're 1013 in the flight levels.
Yep. Right, because I'm lazy, I'm going to pop Bravo Hotel Delta into there using the good old PMS 750 GTN GTN 750 by PMS nav unit that we've got here. So this is a free mod with a paid upgrade version that you can go and buy from Microsoft Flight Sim. It works in loads and loads of add-on aeroplanes, including this one. So there's loads of different options you can do with the radio. When we get on the ground in Exeter, I'll show you all the different options that we've got. Or we'll briefly go through them. Obviously, we've still got the full in-depth review to have a really close look at what all those different things will do. But needless to say, there is loads of different options. We also have a working weather radar, which we completely forgot to turn on. So maybe we'll give that a test and pop it on now. As far as I can tell, it's basically a default Microsoft Flight Simulator weather radar. So it's a little bit basic, but it does the job. And you can also tilt it up and down as required. So let's tilt up slightly for the climb.
Just about noticed in the climb, the cabin's already levelled up throughout the altitude of 1. Now,
yep.
That wouldn't probably happen that quickly in a real aircraft.
Right.
So that's probably Flight Simulator glitch. Probably would still be cabin climbing at the moment. It's fine. Obviously, we're happy it's set in the window. So that's not a problem. We're still going to knows now. But maybe we tweak that the rate knob needs adjusted slightly. And that's something in the simulator you don't get the real thing, because you can feel when a rate's quite high up or down. Obviously, you can feel it in your ears, which is something in the simulator you can never flight model. I'm sure there'll be some sort of fifth sense simulator out there somewhere we can do it. So I don't really fancy the idea of that's the worst part of flying.
Yeah, I don't really like popping ears. It's not the best. It's not the best feeling in the world.
Pulls you out the left hand side of the window, and also past 10,000 feet now. So we'll go climb checks. We'll take the records off, as you do at most airliners or flights like this. Cabin signs will go off as well if it's nice and smooth, and make sure we have them set correctly. CR and the anti-ice stuff. So we are flying beautifully at the moment.
Beautiful.
9,000 feet to go.
Let's have a look outside. Lovely weather in the Channel Islands.
Yeah, they have no summer, so they're getting a bit worse now. Yeah, the summer, that's quite a nice view, and I've seen that view quite a few times, and it looks pretty accurate to us.
Yeah. It's been quite a long time since I've done any flying around the Channel Islands, but it's always in the summer it's lovely. In the winter it's absolute nightmare. generally.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we've got about 8,000 meters to go. We'll probably just pause it a minute with you guys, and we'll meet you back at the top of the line.
Sounds good to me. There we go. So, right, yeah, okay. So we'll level off at, we're almost at flight level 200. We've got 1,000 to go.
Yeah, and just saying to Kitty as well, so the climb schedule should work. So in climb mode, it should bring you back to about 150 knots above 10,000 feet, and 140 knots above 15,000 feet, and so on up to 120 knots. It's not doing that, so that's not modeled quite correctly, but it's working to enjoy it. I don't think it's going to take the enjoyment out of it. It's just not quite as anal attentive as we all like it to be sometimes.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning though, isn't it, that it's not quite that. You never know. Remember, this is a pre-released version of the product, so those improvements might come at some point, maybe even before it gets released. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're just leveling off now, and there's not a lot to do in the climb check, so we can turn the auto feather off now. So it's on top of the line.
Okay, so auto feather can go off.
To the camera level, and now we're bring the torque back to around about 92%.
Okay.
Now, as I bring the props back, of course, like a turbocharged airplane or any airplane with manifold pressure, as you bring the props back, you get increased torque or power. So bring the props back to about 1,500, I guess.
Okay.
Should make it nice and quiet passengers.
Do it nice and slowly, and yeah, as you can see, the torque is going up as you pull the RPM back.
Might have been to talk back a little bit more, as you can below 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see what speed we can get out of this thing.
So the 350 is pretty well known for being fast, isn't it? So
yeah, so it should cruise this altitude probably about 280 knots, roughly 280 TAS, and on the ground speed, it's on the winds are. Yeah, you stick flapping normally around about the 280 to 10 knots, really.
let's change this track field to let's try and put some wind on here. If I can find it, wind speed and direction, there we go. So we've got 41 knot headwind, so we're doing 236 over the ground with 40 knots in front of us, so yeah, about almost 280 knots TAS by the looks of things, so yeah, sounds good to me.
And so sorry, the audience, we didn't look at the wind, so you know, we'll start a longer flight than we anticipated before, so we'll skip a little bit for you. Just looking at the, if you can zoom into the GPS, what our estimated time of arrival will be.
Yeah, let's have a look. So, flight plan, we got do we have an ETA? We got a distance to run. One sec, I'll tell you what. Let's have a look on here. Let's have a look at the fuel planning. So, present position, use sensor data, 2x to...
Goes to the home screen, it should be ETA somewhere.
Yeah. I guess you could get it up as a menu option. So we could have it instead of one of these, I suppose.
Yeah, probably instead of the... have it as well. Probably instead of the wind. We don't have the wind in now, so take the wind off and have it.
Okay.
There, I suppose.
Estimated time to destination, there we go.
I guess there's 16 minutes left, not too bad. So
yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. And there we are. So far so good, really. Kitty's telling me that it feels quite nice and heavy, which the airplane feels like in real life. It's also quite a well-built airplane. It feels very safe, and essentially is, you know, it's only got 8-9 seats in the back. It is a baby airliner. A lot of the systems you have in this, especially the modern ones, or the Fusion avionics, and even the older ones, these are in line with what you get of a turboprop in the sort of you fly these with your Eastern Airways, Jetstream. These are just smaller versions. So very safe, very easy, very comfortable. There's a bit of a joke getting in and out of the cockpit. We talked about it earlier, didn't we, Kissy?
Oh yeah, yeah.
To get into the cockpit with the King Air, you need two things. You need a butt plug, because unfortunately that armrest will tend to go up your bum as you get in the cockpit. And you need a crash helmet, because if you're anything over 6 feet, it will hit your head on the ceiling or switch to obscure above the ceiling. And also, as you get in, as Kitty's pointing out, the sunlight starts to drop down on your head, which makes it even more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a lovely way to fly, just not quite ergonomically made to get in and out of, especially if you're tall like me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on its own like that, though, is it? I mean, the Q400 is not exactly an ergonomically designed aeroplane in the cockpit, shall we say? If you're a larger individual, then it can get really tight in there. Thankfully, I'm not, so it's wasn't completely horrendous to be stood in there, but it does get really, really tight, and there's plenty of aeroplanes like that, isn't there? I think even the 737, not that I've been in on the flight deck of a 737, but I've certainly heard enough about them to know that things are pretty cramped up there.
Yeah, absolutely. So airplanes really are made for flight crew. I mean, you can sit in the back or cargo.
Yeah, absolutely.
So generally, once you're in the cockpit, you are quite comfortable. Now we're getting a lot better ergonomically. It's just obviously getting in and out from step over all the avionics, especially on the older aircraft like this model. Get the big center console and things like that down there. Things have got better, but the design essentially the same, and they'll fail like that.
Yep. Let's see if the VNAV, the old VNAV will work.
Yeah. So have we put the approach in yet?
We've not, no. So let's put. In fact, let's do that first, because there's probably a waypoint to do. So approach. We're going to go for the ILS for runway 08s with the Bravo Hotel Delta transition, and let's pop that in as a load.
Yeah.
Okay, and have a quick look at that, make sure it makes sense. It's looking good to me. So yeah, we can fly an RNAV overlay for this, which is pretty handy. Obviously, some of you might think that's cheating and that we should do it all raw data, but those of you can politely shut up, because we don't want to be here all day, and I don't want to demonstrate just how bad I am at that kind of thing. Okay, so let's say we want to be.
Have descent. It might do, probably won't. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
You knew it will, because one might have to descend on the ground speed. Are we 60 miles away yet? Do you know?
I can tell you that because I know we've got a cumulative distance here. So we are, yes, 60 miles, just going up to 60 miles now.
So we'll start descent now. So if you wind down the out select to, what is it, 3,003, what's the platform altitude? Yeah,
stand by, let me get that up. I'm just pulling that up on the old Navigraph app here. So ILS runway 08, so that's the initial. So that's saying we should be at 2200 according to that.
2200 in the out select.
Yeah, the top of drop is 2200. So let's pop that in.
Basically push it in. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, got it.
Press descent mode on the autopilot, should go back 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then if you just go to the engine anti-ice, which is just above you, pull that on. That will reduce your torque to a little bit. Should bring the power back a little bit.
Okay.
It seems to do it pretty instantly, which is not quite right. It takes a little bit longer than that. You can see that's gone to about 9% power.
Yep.
And then you keep your speed below the power all the way down in the descent now.
Awesome.
And we'll run descent checks. So basically, our pressure place we can now set. So the elevation extra is the elevation there.
Oh, stand by. Where's it going? So elevation at Exeter is 102 feet.
Okay, so you want to set 1,100 in the descent and the pressurization controller. Generally set it about 1,000 feet above, roughly. With a proper calculation, we're not doing that now. Just make things a bit easier.
So hang on, do I want that on the inner scale or the outer scale? The inner scale. The
So
outer,
you now
right?
want
Okay.
the outer scale. Yeah, so you set it on the way up in the inner scale,
Right.
on the way down the outer scale.
All right. Okay. Yep. Got that set.
So that's done. I'll go back to the checklist. HTML, one of the ones goes next to fuel balance. The fuel is we're not being cross-feed or anything, so that's all balanced.
Yep. Loads of fuel still.
Product Sparrow, set for the missed approach. We can't set that on this. We'll just have to do it on the brief. Approach to export condition is armed. Auto feather back to arm. So I don't know if you've done that yet.
Okay. So auto feather back to arm. Yep.
Eye systems aren't required to put anti-ice on, so that's going to cover all that. Normally put recoils back on at 10,000 feet, but we'll put them on now at just to save time.
Okay. There we go.
And pack survival lights cabin are on altimeters, so set the altimeters to
Okay.
expect.
So let's use our lovely GPS system to help us out. Get the airfield info. Get the current meter, and we've got 1010.
Okay. Someone noticed. What's our ground speed there, Kitty?
Ground speed is 246 knots.
It's a little hack for the simmers out there. We need to send a 3-degree glide path. So you add a 0 to 246, you get 2,460. If you half that, you get your ground speed required 3-degree path. So quick maths for me. I'm going to set the VS mode, please, Kitty, and 1,300 feet a minute down, because that descent mode is given 15 feet that we want, and we should be given this. That's not quite working right.
Okay.
Also, we've been descending a while now, so we need to get back on the approach path. So if you go to the VS, take it down 7 times, give you about 1,400 feet a minute. Just get a few more to go down to just over 2,000 feet a minute, just because I want to get back on the profile.
Yeah. I'll just keep clicking until it gets to 2,000. There we go.
Yeah, make sure to bring the power back a little bit, because you will
Yep.
accelerate.
Yeah.
And down we go. So if you can look at the track mileage now, we can work it out.
Okay, stand by. Let's have a look at the track mileage. So we've got another 42 miles to go.
Okay, so 16 times 3, 32, 38, 48. So we're a little bit high at the moment. But that 2,000 feet a minute should get us down nicely. Because our ground speed, I imagine, is still around about 250 knots.
Yep, 250 knots at the moment.
So we're greater than that VS profile, so it should bring us back on a nice 3-degree glide path. And if you want any videos explaining things like 3-degree descents and check heights, that sort of thing, then comment below, and I'm sure me, Kitty, or Jimbo can try and sort that out. It was a bit of a educational video. It's a real way of flying an aeroplane, because I'm sure a lot of you sim guys out there know you can fly a plane really well, but what we want to try and do is pass on the knowledge of how you fly in reality and how ATC want you to plan. It's all about their models and efficiency. They like 3-degree paths because they are inherently safer and more efficient for the aeroplane and fuel burn. So if you want to talk about that, comment down below and we'll see what we can do.
What I always say to my students is that when you get into flying commercially, it's a lot less about the actual act of flying the aeroplane and a lot more about managing the flight. So it's like you were saying, all things about managing descents, fuel flows, checking your fuel planning, your fuel profile, timings, and obeying whatever crazy stuff ATC want you to do. So it's a lot less about the actual act of hand flying the airplane and a lot more about all the other stuff that goes with it. But that's kind of part and parcel of flying something that's more and more high performance. You kind of have to plan further and further ahead of the aeroplane, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Luckily in the turboprop, effectively when you bring the power back to idle, it's like putting the brakes on, which is quite nice. But in the jet world, you have to think about it a lot more, because they will not slow down, even with speed brakes really, as well as you want them to. So that's why we used to always fly like flying anything really. And also for the passengers, you want to be smooth. People pay a lot of money to charter a King Air, so you want to be nice and smooth for them. not spill any of their G&Ts or anything like that, and give them a nice flight that they paid for.
Absolutely, yeah. Because especially in an aircraft like a King Air, all they need to do is reach forward, and then they can smack you round the back of the head if they don't like anything. So you obviously want to avoid that.
Turn the coffee machine off, which would be very bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Some donging going on in the cockpit.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure what that is. Oh, it might just be message. Approach is not active. Okay, let's fix that then.
Yeah, it goes to,
so activate approach. There we go. Let's go.
And obviously, you need to set the ILS frequency in there.
Yeah, of course. So I'll just run through a little bit of a plate briefing then. So if I can get the plate to reappear, it seems to have taken its leave. Right, okay, so we've got the ILS DME for runway 08X ATIS. Let's assume we've got it. Approach and tower, so comms frequencies, we ignore those. ILS frequency is going to be 1099, so let's get that in on here. So if we've got a nav2, which we do, it's over here. So let's pop it on this one too, for redundancy. I'm going the long way around because I'm an idiot. 1099, flip that over. We'd normally get an ident if we needed to on that. We've got a text ident. It's already telling us it's ILS runway 08 for Exeter. Do we have a separate DME on here, or is it all? It's all integrated, isn't it? It's over here. So
That's right, yeah.
yeah, so that's good. So what we normally do is also get an ident off the DME, but we're not going to bother too much about that. Okay, I have no idea where we're going here. So
What's the direct Tuesday? What's the next waypoint?
yeah, activate approach, go. That's
So
not
it's
very good.
You final approach exam, is that right?
It's yeah. Well, it's for some reason it's not. Let's just do a direct to one of these waypoints. That one should do it.
Go to CF08, that worked well, don't we?
And then nav. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Right, that'll do. Right, okay, so final approach track, we can put that in now. It's 077, so I'm just going to do that on the honeycomb. There we go. Interesting thing to note, when you're using the honeycomb controls to switch the course and the heading and stuff, the little sounds, the little clicky sounds don't work, which is a little bit sad because they're really nice, the sounds for that. Maybe they can sort that out going forward. Right, okay, so frequency's tuned, final approach course is set. We've got a glide slope integrity check at 6.4 miles. That's also going to be top of drop for the procedure, 2,200 feet. We've got a decision altitude of 300. So where would we, have we got a bug to set that on, or?
Not on this one. You
not on this one.
Thing is, would have a bug or a barrow or something to chime, but there's actually not enough in there, so
okay.
you have to remember part of the brief.
Fair enough. So, right, we'll just have to remember that our go-around is 300. I don't think that's going to be an issue today, given the weather conditions. Missed approach is going to be standard missed approach unless directed by ATC. There's no approach ban in force. Any questions?
Yeah, so the looks like the course bar's coming in now. So if you want to go to VLOC on the GPS, I'm going to give you a heading to intercept. So you go to VLOC on the 750.
Okay, well, the course bar is still on GPS, though, mate, so that's why the course bar is coming in.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. So yeah, we'll go, anyway, we'll just go with sort of vectors now if you want.
Okay,
You want
yeah,
to
sure.
go to heading mode.
Yeah, heading.
I make sure the headset's ready. And we want to go to VLOC on the 750.
Yeah, VLOC, yeah.
I just want to take a heading now of north.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean,
360.
if you zoom into the 750 for me.
Yeah.
Give you a rough heading. So, there you go. Perfect.
1,000 to
And
go.
now, I would set something like a heading of 0. What do I reckon? 040.
Okay.
And then if you army approach, so approach mode.
Okay, so 40, and approach is arms.
So it's armed, and then hopefully, as we go around the corner, it will capture, and then do the rest for us. And on power now, so you want to set about £300 of fuel flow.
Okay.
I think it's about there. Oh yeah, there is £300 of fuel there again. So 282.90 pounds of fuel flow.
Yep.
And that should give a rough, once we leveled off, should give us a rough speed of about 180 knots, which is under our flat limited speed of 202. So what we'll do is run the first part of the glide slope drops down to 1 dot. We'll go to flap approach, and then when we get to just past half scale, we'll go gear down, lights on, and then just as we're about to capture the glide slope, we will go flap down.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'm not quite sure whether that localizer's coming in or not. I think it might be.
Just, looks like it. Oh,
Looks like it is starting to move, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're ATC as well as pilots.
Look at that. Oh, okay, so Loke capture now. And glide is alive as well, so a half scale now, so I'm going to go flaps, the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, gear down, select.
Landing lights on.
And landing lights on. Let's assume we are clear to land, so we'll throw the taxi light on as well.
Perfect. And then once you go below speed of 158, which will speed will come back, then we'll go flap 2 down.
Okay.
And let's go props forward now as well, get out of slow, so down forward.
Okay, props forward. We're below 2200 now, so let's set missed approach altitude. That's going to be 2500.
Yeah. We're bring that power back a little bit more. It's just as soon as the speed should wash off by now.
Yep.
Just to get the below the 158 for the land plan.
Okay, so full flap now, landing flap.
Yeah, perfect. And we'll just do a quick final check. So gear is down 3 degrees.
Yep, checked.
Landing lights are on.
Yep, they are.
Props are as required. So we can
forward.
basically props forward, so that's fine. Flaps are down. You're down. We can turn off now. You can go, well, whenever you're ready to go manual.
Yeah, your damper off. Let's go manual flight now.
And then taxi lights on. Clear to land. So final check's complete. We're stable, and it's down and kitchen to keep VRF of 100 knots if you can, and not crash it into those trees.
Oh well, I can't guarantee that that's not going to happen, but I'll give it my best go.
The last time we put together, I'm sure you've seen the famous stall and spin accident we had before. So hopefully we can get it trending on YouTube.
Yeah. So let's see if we can try and keep this aeroplane in one piece. I mean, we've managed to wreck one of the engines already, so I think that's enough damage for one day.
Absolutely.
So you can see here the new gust and thermal model that Microsoft Flight Simulator has. I find it's a big improvement over the old one. You can see the airplane's kind of jogging around a little bit, which is just what it would do on a slightly bumpy day, which is what we've got here. Winds are reasonably strong here in Exeter, so you tend to get a bit of turbulence of any kind of obstacles as you start to get down into the friction layer, which is the last sort of couple thousand feet. And if the wind is slightly coming across all of the airport buildings and things like that, then it can get quite bad. There's several airports that I visit on a regular basis that can get really bad when the wind's a little bit much.
Absolutely, and just looking at extra as well, that scenery looks really good so far.
Yeah.
Really good trees around it, the shape of the airfield, the taxiways, really good so far. It's the first time I've seen it. I know kids tell me it's really good, and so far I can see that.
Okay, so I'm just going to pull the bow out and just let her float in. And there we go, and we'll go for reverse. And the reverse is unbelievably effective on this thing, and I wasn't even using the high idle version of reverse there.
No, really, really good. Just stop quick.
There we go, aeroplane in one piece. That's a bonus. So yeah,
absolutely.
We'll have a quick little tour around Exeter as we taxi in. So this is completely free scenery from good old flightsim.to. A lovely chap named Super Spud made this. Obviously, this place is a little bit close to my heart. I had quite a few dealings with my past employer in this this airport. So it's really nice to see it modelled so lovingly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We can see we've got an Irish Lad 737 in the maintenance hangar, obviously being polished.
So just actually, you'd actually normally park in the King Air, just to the right here,
Okay.
in the little bay you can see.
Yeah, yeah, this one.
Over there, just if you wanted to park there or not. Generally, the parking area for the aircraft or.
And pop the landing lights off and the strobes while we do that. So.
Yeah, just strobes, landing lights, all switching off, or hot
yeah.
stuff.
Hot stuff off. Yeah, there we go. Those as well.
And windshield heat off.
So ignition. There we go. Windshield heats. There we go. This is far too complicated for a simple-brained individual like me. But
you're doing fine.
Let's try and swing it round, not knock the front end off this whatever the hell it is.
That is a Eclipse.
Ah, okay.
Really tiny inside. There's a very aptly named registered one in Guernsey, which is registered to Mini, which I think is quite correct.
You get a lot of quite creative Jersey registrations, don't you? Because their reg is just a 2, isn't it? So you can have 2 hot, 2 fast, all sorts of different things. Right. Okay. So parking brake set. I can hear an ident going off in the background, and I have no idea how to get rid of that. So maybe I need to do this or something.
Yeah, I should turn it off.
Shut it up. There we go. Right, okay, so should we have some shutdown text? Or taxi light can go off because we're parked up now.
Yeah, taxi light can go off. Literally, recap can go off on the same panel.
Yeah.
And auto can go off.
Auto feather can go. I always forget what this is. It's that one off. There we go.
Avionics can go off.
Okay, avionics can go off. Oh, I think engine anti-ice will get rid of that as well. There we go.
Jenny will leave it on the ground.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's leave that on.
Basically. So on the left-hand side, you've got the inverters turning off.
Okay, so inverters are going off.
You get some master cautions for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, there we go.
On the right-hand side, on the P2 side, you take the cabin temp mode from auto to off.
Okay, yeah.
A bleed air valve just to environmental off, which is the middle selection.
Yeah.
And then the furnishings to coffee off.
Yep.
Cabin lights off. And then we would pull the fuel levers back.
Okay.
And the props to feather.
Oh, there we go. And then I'll have to do that manually because for some reason my feathering doesn't work on this. Lovely sounds. There we go.
Absolutely. And then just once the props stop, beacon and nav lights off, and the battery mask can go off.
Okay, and then we can hit the gang bar to turn all those off. There we go. Yep. Beautiful. Oh, we're in one piece. There we go. Right, so there you have it. A first look at the Black Square Analog King Air upgrade, which basically takes the default, very basic, very simple King Air 350 in Microsoft Flight Simulator and turns it into something that's pretty close to a study-level aeroplane. Wouldn't you agree, Nathan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really well modelled. There's a few little glitches, which are like anything if we want to be really anal retentive, which me and Kitty both are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That are off, but obviously we don't know the prices yet. So if the price is low, then it's really good. If the price is really high, like PNG level, then maybe not so good. So I suppose we need the price to come out to really tell us how good this airplane is, because that's essentially what we all pay for. If you're paying for something worth a lot of money, you want to get a lot out of it. If this is quite a cheap mod, sort of adds, reckon, between the £10 to £25, I think it's excellent value for money. If it's slightly more than that, then maybe you want to get these little glitches we talked about so far sorted out before they do anything like that. I don't know if you agree, Kitty, with that.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so far.
Obviously, this is still a work in progress. So
Yeah.
bear in mind that this is just a first look. This is a pre-launch build that we're testing here. So all of the stuff that we're saying and looking at so far on this flight might completely change by the time this actually comes out. As far as I'm concerned, I think that a lot of effort has gone into this, as with the analog caravan that Black Square brought out. So a lot of effort and love has gone into this. I think they've obviously consulted a lot of real King Air pilots to get all these different things modelled in properly, and a lot of real life documentation. Speaking of documentation, it comes with a lot of a really big manual, which I was trying to very quickly skim through to try and work out how to how to set it up before we actually started the video. So it's certainly, there's loads of documentation there. So don't worry, you don't need to watch a guide or do a real life King Air type rating to operate this thing. There's loads of really good documentation. All the in-game checklists are there for you as well. So all of these things have been populated, so you can run through these to help you set up and operate the aeroplane. So I would say if it's below the region of £30, and you like King Airs or you like turboprops, then this is going to be an absolute must get. Now, obviously, that's again a proviso that the full release version of this product is as good as this is now, but I can't see why it wouldn't be. In fact, it's probably only going to get better and better. So yeah, that's my final take on that. If I don't know if you'd agree with that, Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Yeah, that sounds perfect to me. Personally, from what I've seen so far, I would use this aircraft as well before coming up to a sim check. The actual sim where we do our operating proficiency checks and then license proficiency checks. Actually, a very similar cockpit layout to that. So for me, flying generally a glass cockpit, mostly King Air. I do fly with some of the classics like that as well. It'd be very handy for me to step back in, use this sim, and just do a bit of training and familiarity really to get ready for a sim check. So would put my money with it, and I'd like to see what you guys think and comment with what you want to see in the next video maybe, because chances are I might be flying a full review video. So do you want to see a similar route to this and a real world route we would do, and give you some tips and tricks on that, or what else you want to see, what we can try and make the King Air do? So do you want to see all the switches? Do you want to see just what we've done today and a little brief overview? Just let us know.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've got nothing more to add to that. So fingers crossed, we'll see you all next time. Nathan will be doing the flying, so someone much more competent behind the controls. And if you've enjoyed this little first look, please remember, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, maybe even give us a subscribe if you really enjoy it, because it really does help the channel grow. And hopefully we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.